Good afternoon. I am Research Associate Rabia Anwar at the Center for Law and Security, and I will warmly welcome our distinguished guests. And the topic that we are going to discuss today is the new phase of Pakistan-US bilateral relations, reflected through an unanticipated reduction of tariffs on Pakistan, followed by oil and trade agreement. So, to discuss this subject matter, we have two very distinguished guests with us, Dr. Bilal Zubair, serving as the Director of Research at the Center for International Strategic Studies, and Dr. Osman Chauhan, delivering as Director at the Center for Aerospace and Security Studies. I welcome both of you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Sir, since we are going to explore both angles of the discussion, the geopolitical as well as the economic, so we will divide the discussion into two halves, right? So first, I would like to begin with Dr. Osman Chauhan to explore its economic perspective. Sir, what could be the possible reasons behind this unanticipated and apparent shift in President Trump's approach towards Pakistan, which resulted in the slashing of US tariffs to 19% from 29%, and India's still on 25%?
First of all, thank you for having me. Very nice to be with CLAS. I think there's two broad reasons why you see this difference in treatment. One is the behavior of Pakistan, and the other is the behavior of India. And I think that they go hand in hand. I think that this Sindoor War, which, as my center, which is under the auspices of the Air Force, and we played an instrumental role, the PAF played an instrumental role in determining that trajectory between both nations. India has been a bad actor towards the United States. Those aren't my words. That is what the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just said about 3 weeks ago. And he said that they're very frustrated with India's behavior. Fundamentally, India believes that it is a global power already without having earned the title actually. And so it's behaving like that in an almost hostile manner. The ceasefire that was brokered by the US to save India from the fury of Pakistan, it was never appreciated by the Indians publicly. Therefore, Trump, with his psychological profile, considered that a personal slight. He also correctly assessed that India is one of the most protectionist countries in the world. This is why I have always said that if we have trade normalized with India, we better be very careful about the tariff and then especially the non-tariff barriers. It's actually a very big deal how their markets are manipulated to block out outsiders from entering Indian markets. So this kind of behavior, plus the fact that they have made a killing, and by them, I mean just a few oligarchs, not the Indian people, but a few oligarchs have made a lot of money off of bankrolling the Russian war machine. That's also very unpleasant because Trump hasn't achieved the peace that he wanted in Eastern Europe. On the other side, you see how Pakistan has done. Pakistan has been very forthcoming in terms of trying to balance out, solving that equation of balancing out US and China. We have time-tested ties with China. China was very, very helpful. Of course, it was Pakistan that ultimately swung the vote of that war in its favor, but it couldn't have happened without the firm friendship of China.
Indeed.
So that's a relationship that is very time-tested and very good. Even on the economic front over the last 12 years or so, there's been a lot of work done on CPEC and all that. And at the same time, even though we get a cold shoulder from Democrats, whenever there's a Democratic government, they give Pakistan a hard time because they live with a lot of hypocrisy. Republicans, we've always had comparatively better, and we are straight shooters, and Republicans like straight shooters. So we came up with a deal, and we have actually made some important economic concessions, which are actually, it would have been nice if we had kept them, but we put them on the table to appease our counterparty, and they in turn lowered their tariffs. For example, there's a tax on digital transactions, which America was worried about, be 5%. And as you, I'm sure, know personally, the youth in Pakistan is doing more and more e-commerce. So that was actually a big loss. And in the future, that will be a big loss because people trade on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. So it's actually these are the kinds of things we did to be conciliatory. And now we're getting a good hearing from America and China. So that shows you the kind of good attitude that having a country like Pakistan has to balance both major powers in the world economically, but also see a bad attitude where India doesn't have good relations with the US at the moment. It has bad relations with China. And to be honest, it doesn't have good relations with any country in the region, any country at all. So that shows you a good contrast in how results that have been playing out for a long time are now culminating because of the critical juncture of the Sindoor War.
Very right, sir. As you have just mentioned that because of the attitude and behavior of Pakistan, this attitude of US has been shifted, right? But sir, what could be the opportunity cost for Pakistan in securing this 19% tariff and securing this trade deal and agreement?
Basically, all countries are getting hit with something. The idea is to have a relative advantage. The relative advantage is that when you compete in certain areas, such as textiles, that's our major export, to the United States. That's why we run a $3 billion surplus with them. If that you get a slight cost advantage because of tariffs, that is a huge thing because these are price elastic. Like the moment the price changes a bit, your demand for it changes substantially. And the major competitors to Pakistan include India, include Bangladesh, yes, but it also includes countries that are closer to America, like Honduras in textiles or Dominican Republic. So if they can't manage an equal tariff, then just because of the distortion created by a tax on imports, which is what tariffs are, Pakistan has a significant advantage. So Pakistan has made it very clear that it wants to secure this advantage as it focuses on its exports. As you know, the Uran Pakistan and all these programs the governments come up with time and ever so often, they have exports at the center. So having this minor cost advantage in a price elastic category like textiles is a huge thing. And that's what they're trying to get from it.
Very right, sir. Very right. Sir, how significant is this deal and how it can contribute to the overall economic security of Pakistan as well as, sir, please enlighten us. Can this deal be a long-lasting one or it's just be a temporary one?
This is a very difficult question because we don't know the duration of Trump's tariffs. Suppose this is his second term, right? In principle, he cannot have a third term, even though he says he will have a third term. So, to some degree, you can imagine that this protectionism is unique to Trump. But if you see that this catches on with the American people, which it probably won't because it is generating inflation and it's creating a big distortion, then you can see it being wound down. It'll definitely be wound down by Democrats in 2028. But even if it's Republicans, but it's a little bit of a centrist Republican government, they will reduce it. So don't count on it. But the world right now is very, very turbulent. So it's very difficult for any country, even a long-term planner like China or Korea or Japan, to be able to foresee that far out. So we take it as it goes. And if you have deals, it is in principle difficult for any government to totally unwind any policy. There's always
Right.
some that is left over. So it is reasonably secure, but it won't be there forever for sure.
Right, sir. Very right. Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to move to the, sorry, Sir Bilal. Sir, in your view, what does this deal signals about US renewed interest in strengthening ties with Pakistan? And do you believe is it driven purely by economic considerations?
Thank you. The Americans and Pakistanis have bilateral diplomatic and political engagement for since 1947. But this relation has been transactional and intermittently it has been on a good side, and then there have been bad tones in the Pakistan-US relations. So this time I would say it is a rather a pragmatic strategic reset between the two countries, which shows that there are no permanent enemies and friends in international relations, they are the interests that drive the states towards or repel them from each other. So this time we do see that there is a diplomatic and strategic reset that is taking place between the United States and Pakistan. Yes, and it has multiple facets. Economy is one, the security is another one, and then there is a political one also. So in the economic terms, yes, there are huge economic opportunities that the US does see towards Pakistan, and Pakistan does see towards the US. We have talked about the tariffs. The US is one of the biggest trading partners. With Pakistan, Pakistan has huge exports going towards the US. So Pakistan does see that if there are lower tariffs, that can give a huge benefit to Pakistan textile and other good markets. Similarly, the US sees that there is a in the domain of the emerging technologies. We have when there was a tariff war between the U.S. and China. China imposed tariffs on the U.S. goods. The U.S. imposed tariffs on Chinese goods, and China also banned the rare earth metals elements going to the U.S. markets. So that compelled the U.S. to search for the other markets. Now, Pakistan has one of the largest mineral reserves in the world. Like Pakistan is perhaps the third or fifth big in the copper. Then Pakistan has those rare earth elements which are essential for the US semiconductors and other emerging tech. So that is one of the mutually beneficial aspect of the economic side that the both countries can actually explore. Similarly, I would agree with Dr. Chauhan's uh, when he said that India's like India-US relations, as the notes dive, that gave Pakistan an opportunity to exploit that situation. And now, when it comes to India and the United States of America, we know that there is a tariff tussle going on, but there is also a war of narrative that is going on between the two countries. That is that and that comes from the India's approach towards strategic autonomy and then their approach towards multi-alignment. Now, the US has been pretty critical to the Indian side that they are importing the oil and other things, but we have to understand where the Trump is coming from. Trump is a a leader, is a president who has a populist mindset. He believes on deliverables, both in terms of tangible and intangible. In terms of tangible deliverables, for instance, if Pakistan is providing him with a most wanted terrorist, it is a deliverable that the president also applauded Pakistani military for their support in counterterrorism operations. If we are talking about the Americans' role in stopping a war or a conflict between Pakistan and India, that is a deliverable that you are providing to a populist leader. But when it comes to India, India is not giving any such deliverables to the US that can assuage, that can praise, that can please the US president. And this is the president, as we know, that he has a very personalized way of doing politics and conducting the diplomatic relations. So these are the things that Pakistan has been capitalizing upon, and they have been trying to actually engage the president and president's family and the key political actors in the US to normalize the relations between Pakistan and SS of America.
Very right, very right. Sir, given this current regional dynamic, sir, how might this deal affect further the rift between US and India relationship?
So you are referring to the recent conflict and the China-India relations.
No, sir. I'm referring to the current deteriorated relationship between India and US, and how this trade agreement and this reduction of tariff might affect this relationship further.
So there are two sides of this equation. When it comes to India, as I mentioned earlier, that India is a big country. And as we see Donald Trump, we have a prime minister in India that is also a populist leader. So there is a constituency that he has to address to. He wants to present India as a strong India. He wants to present his leadership as a strong leadership. So when he is going back to his own constituency, he wants also to bring what the deliverables from a particular transaction India has achieved. So in terms of Operation Sindoor, there was no deliverables that he can provide back to his own constituency. They are in a flux. They are in a very bad shape politically. They haven't been able to give answers that the public as well as the media has been raising the questions. Similarly, when there was the tariffs imposed by the United States of America, India could not respond in equal manners. Rahul Gandhi, in the recent parliamentary sessions, he have been asking Prime Minister Modi to name that Donald Trump was unable to bring that settlement between Pakistan and India or play his role as a mediatory. He was unable to name President Trump. So he's in a bad position. But he wants to show himself as a strong a political representative of India. So these are the things that Prime Minister Modi is actually looking at. He's in the pressure, but whenever he goes back to his constituency, he has to bring something to his own constituency that they are actually dealing the Americans in a strategically autonomous manner. For the Americans, they are not dependent on India. They have so many other markets when it comes to importing their goods. If the Walmart has written a letter to the Indian government that they won't be importing goods, they have other markets from where they can manufacture the same goods and they can import them. So India has to reciprocate either by coming to the terms to the President Trump, that he was the key player in stopping the India-Pakistan war, or he has to face the brunt. But as we know that President Trump is very transactional in nature, if there are similar narrative-based concessions that India can give to the US, there can be a resettlement of relations. If there are tariffs which are 30%, they can be reduced to that can be mutually beneficial for both the countries.
Right. Sir, if we analyze this subject or this India-Pakistan conflict in a broader context, sir, can this close cooperation of US and Pakistan change Pakistan's role in this US-China competition? If yes, then how should Pakistan navigate the balance between the two?
So I would say that it has been a great success for Pakistan's diplomatic efforts to maintain a very pragmatic relation between the China and the United States of America. We have not been choosing any sides. We are not saying that we are an ally of China against the US. We have never done anything that goes against the interest of China. So Pakistan has diplomatically played a very balancing role between the China and the US. We also need to understand that China has never been perturbed by our tilt towards the US. Like the Americans, if they are perturbed with the China-Pakistan economic corridor, China would never say that you should not make good efforts to have balanced relationship with the US. So I would say that despite of our very good relationship and friendship with China, we have never been alienated by China. We have remained friends with the US, and we have to understand that the US markets are very important for Pakistan. The US role as a key player in key financial institutions, political institutions are very important for Pakistan. Pakistan needs the help of IMF and World Bank, and Americans play a very important role in these institutions. We, in many other multilateral institutions, Pakistan, such as FATF, Pakistan does require the American support. Pakistan's industries require the imports from the US for sustainability and its growth. And most importantly, but if you see the past trajectory of the FDI, alongside China, US has always been among the top 5 countries that have done foreign direct investment in Pakistan. Of 2024 in Pakistan was around 2.5 billion US dollars, in which it came from the China, but Americans were also the big FDI investors in Pakistan. And this time it's a crucial moment when Pakistan can receive the FDI from both the great powers, the US as well as China. So one aspect that I would like to really highlight is in Pakistan, the key investment in FDI would go to those areas which are highly sensitive areas in terms of security situation. So what would happen is that if the FDI is coming from the US in these areas, US would also support Pakistan's counterterrorism and counterinsurgency operations. they would like to quell down, because these are the key areas where the investment is going. So Americans would like their investment to be secure. So that would actually augment the economic cooperation in terms of the FDI in Pakistan, much needed FDI in Pakistan, whereas it would also help Pakistan to augment its security related cooperation in the counterterrorism hit areas in Pakistan.
Very right, sir. So very quickly, I would like to ask this final question from both of you, that how can Pakistan make a robust cooperation with the US, and in which areas this partnership can be strengthened?
Dr. Saab, would you like to answer first?
So please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. In my view, there have been already some areas highlighted, and I don't think they are the most promising ones. Oil, for example. On paper, it seems we have a lot of oil, but it's not clear that it is actually extractable the way that the promises and the tweets and the truth socials of Trump are saying, that we'll end up, who knows, selling oil to India. I don't think that's realistic. In terms of mineral wealth, it is true that's a good area. I would like to see more in agriculture, food security, that kind of thing. I would like to see more done in the tech side. There's new emerging areas like AI, which are very good, but also hardware. I don't think crypto is the best place to put Pakistani taxpayer money in the way that they're saying. So even tech, there's some areas that are productive. The sorts of things China invests in, like renewables, electric vehicles, AI, that's probably where we should be going in cooperation with the US, because they have still a lead, a slight lead. It's not that big a lead anymore, but still a lead in this stuff. And agriculture being another one. So with the areas that have been highlighted, oil, I don't know about that. And crypto, I don't know about that. So it seems like some priorities could be better placed. I would also like to see more educational cooperation. You know that there's a university coming to Lahore, which is actually an American degree college. That's good, but we should have much more of that, because these are the demands for our society. And I'd like to also see more investment in healthcare. Not just because of public value, like for people's welfare. There's also a strong economic incentive for that. So America still does lead in these sectors, but not for long. I mean, we'll just simply get better stuff from China, cooperating with China soon enough. But while we have this narrow window, take advantage for mutual benefit. Americans will make money from it too, for both sides in this window.
Very right. Thank you, sir. Sir Bilal, please.
So I do see it in two ways. The first is the high political avenues, and then the other are the low political avenues. So when it comes to high political avenues, I do see a huge cooperation coming towards the counterterrorism operations. Pakistan has laid like more than 85,000 lives in the counter insurgency and counterterrorism operations. Pakistan have been hard hit by the terrorism. Since Pakistan has joined this war against terror, and afterwards also. So this is something that Pakistan would like to have huge cooperation in the future. I do see the American hardware, military hardware coming to Pakistan. Pakistan would be happy to have the American weapons to fight such insurgencies and terrorism-related operations. When it comes to low political, but there is a huge potential for that. I totally agree with Dr. Chauhan when he said that the education, Pakistan has the US had the largest Fulbright scholarship program for Pakistan. Pakistani for PhD undergrads, Pakistanis were going to the US. I do see the US Education Foundation are doing good job in Pakistan. They have been historically doing very good job in Pakistan. That aspect of the cooperation would continue. Yes, agriculture, tech, and most importantly, I would see the climate financing and the climate and the environmental cooperation between Pakistan. Like Pakistan is one of the top 10 countries hit by the climate change, and like in terms of the chlorofluoro emissions, Pakistan has very less contribution, less than 1%. So that discrepancy makes Pakistan very vulnerable. So yes, that is the avenue I would see the US investing inside Pakistan. And then we have the entrepreneurs. The US aid has always been one of the the key investors in the entrepreneur development, in the human development. So I would see that despite of the reducing U.S. Soft power-based diplomatic footprints in the countries across the world, I do see that there would be different avenues where the U.S. public diplomacy can restart investing inside Pakistan. This is another area I would like the cooperation to actually flourish. The more Pakistani students going to the American university, it's always good for the image of the both the countries. So yes, these are the avenues where I do see that both countries can cooperate in the future.
Very right, and thank you very much, sir. I would like to conclude this session, and we hope to collaborate with both of you in future. Thank you, sir. Allah Hafiz.